The notification sound wouldn't stop. Buzz, buzz, buzz. I watched my phone light up like a slot machine hitting jackpot, except instead of winning money, I was losing everything. Dude, is this you? Read the first text from my cousin Sarah. Call me now, came from my older brother Marcus. Then Mom, come home. Right now. The video had 47,000 views when I first saw it. Me and Tyler, kissing outside Riverside Bar after too many beers and too much honesty. Someone had filmed us from across the street. Probably thought it was cute, romantic even. They tagged it #LoveIsLove and #Pride Month and sent it spinning into the algorithmic void. By the time I got to my parents' house in suburban Cleveland, it had hit 290,000. My father opened the door before I could knock. His face looked like carved stone, hard, cold, ancient in its disappointment. "Is it true?" he asked. I should have lied. God knows I'd done it before. But something about seeing myself on that screen, really seeing myself happy for the first time in 26 years, made the lies taste like poison. "Yeah, Dad. It's true." He stepped aside. Mom was crying at the kitchen table, her Bible open to Leviticus. My grandmother sat next to her, rosary beads clicking between her fingers like a countdown to judgment. Have you ever been outed to millions of strangers and your family in the same brutal moment? Have you ever watched your mother cry because you dared to be happy? This is the story of how a 30-second video destroyed the life I'd built and forced me to choose between love and family. If you've ever hidden who you really are, hit that like button. If you want to see how this ends, subscribe. And if you've got a story like mine, drop it in the comments, because we're not alone in this. I've been careful for 26 years. That's how long it takes to build a fortress around yourself. Brick by brick, lie by lie, girlfriend after girlfriend who sensed something was off but could never quite name it. My name is Jordan Matthews. I grew up in Parma, Ohio, a Cleveland suburb where Friday night football was religion and church on Sunday was law. My dad worked at the Ford plant for 30 years. My mom taught second grade at Holy Family Elementary. Marcus, my older brother, married his high school sweetheart and gave our parents 2 grandkids before he turned 28. I was supposed to be next. "When you gonna settle down, Jordan?" Dad would ask every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, every backyard barbecue where aunts and uncles gathered to judge each other's life choices over potato salad. "I'm focused on work," I'd say. I was a graphic designer at a marketing firm downtown. Good money, flexible hours, and enough distance from Parma to breathe. But I wasn't breathing. I was suffocating. Tyler Chen walked into my life on a random Tuesday in March. He was the new copywriter at the firm, transplanted from San Francisco with a nose ring, bleached hair tips, and the kind of confidence that comes from growing up in a place where being gay isn't a death sentence. "You're Jordan, right? The guy who designed the Westbrook campaign." He leaned against my cubicle wall, all casual grace and West Coast ease. "Yeah, that's me. It's brilliant. Seriously." The typography alone, he kissed his fingers like a chef praising a perfect dish. I felt my face heat up. "Thanks. I mean, it was a team effort." "Bullshit. That was all you." He grinned. "Buy you a coffee sometime? I want to pick your brain about the local market." That coffee turned into lunch. Lunch turned into drinks after work. Drinks turned into late-night texts that made my phone feel like a loaded gun under my pillow, exciting and dangerous in equal measure. Tyler talked about his life in San Francisco like it was a different planet. Pride parades, drag brunches, holding hands on the street without checking over his shoulder. "You ever been to San Francisco?" he asked one night at Riverside Bar, our regular spot because it was far enough from Parma that nobody knew me. "Never had a reason to go." "You should. You'd love it." He took a sip of his beer, eyes locked on mine. "You could be yourself there." My stomach twisted. "What makes you think I'm not myself here?" "Jordan." He said my name like a sigh. I know closeted when I see it. I was there too once. Different city, same cage. I should have gotten up and left. Should have made some excuse about early meetings and deadlines. Instead, I stayed. "My family would disown me," I said quietly. "I know. My dad hasn't spoken to his brother in 15 years because Uncle Mike chose the gay lifestyle. That's what he calls it. A choice. Like picking chocolate over vanilla. Tyler reached across the table and put his hand on mine. Just for a second. Just long enough for something inside me to crack. Maybe it's not about them, he said. Maybe it's about you. That was April. By June, we were dating in secret. By July, I was in love. By August, I was drunk enough on a Friday night to kiss him outside Riverside Bar while someone filmed it and changed my life forever. The kitchen felt like a courtroom. Mom wouldn't look at me. Just kept staring at that Bible like the words would rearrange themselves into something that made sense of her gay son. Grandma broke the silence first. Is this why you never brought girls around anymore? You were with him. His name is Tyler. I don't care what his name is. Dad's fist hit the table hard enough to make Mom's coffee jump in its mug. I care that my son has been lying to us. To everyone. I wasn't lying. I just wasn't telling you. That's the same damn thing, Jordan. Marcus stood in the doorway, arms crossed. He'd always been the good son, married young, worked construction, gave Dad someone to be proud of. Now he looked at me like I was a stranger. How long? Marcus asked. 6 months. 6 months. He laughed, bitter and sharp. 6 months of bringing him to family dinners and pretending he was just a work friend. Did you think we were stupid? I thought I was protecting myself. From what? Mom's voice cracked. From us. We're your family, Jordan. We love you. You love the version of me you invented. You don't love this. I gestured at myself, at the gay son who'd been hiding in their house for 26 years. Grandma crossed herself. It's not too late. Father Mitchell offers counseling. There are programs. I'm not sick, Grandma. The Bible says. I don't care what the Bible says. The words exploded out of me. I don't care what Father Mitchell thinks or what your church friends will whisper behind your back. I'm gay. I've always been gay. And I'm in love with Tyler. The silence that followed was the loudest sound I'd ever heard. Dad stood up slowly. He looked older suddenly, like he'd aged a decade in 10 minutes. You need to leave. Dad. I said leave. You made your choice. Now live with it. Mom sobbed. Marcus wouldn't meet my eyes. Grandma's rosary beads clicked faster. I left. By the time I got back to my apartment, the video had 1.2 million views. My Instagram was flooded with messages. Half of them supportive strangers celebrating love, half of them slurs and threats from people who thought they knew God's will better than God. Tyler was waiting at my door with Thai food and the kind of quiet strength that comes from surviving this exact nightmare years ago. They kicked you out, he said. Not a question. Yeah. I'm sorry. Are you? I laughed, hollow and bitter. This is what you wanted, right? For me to be out and proud and authentic. He set down the food and pulled me into a hug. I broke against his chest, crying like I hadn't cried since I was 10 years old and Dad told me boys don't cry. I wanted you to be free, Tyler whispered. Not like this. Never like this. My phone buzzed. Sarah's name appeared on the screen. My parents said I can't talk to you anymore. I'm so sorry, Jordan. I love you. Then another. Uncle Mike. Saw the video. Welcome to the family no one talks about. Call me if you need anything. Then Marcus. Mom's in bed. Won't stop crying. Hope you're happy. The video hit 2 million views that night. I became a meme by Monday. The first week, I kept checking my phone for messages that never came. The second week, I stopped checking. By the third week, I'd blocked most of my family except Uncle Mike, who sent dad jokes and gifs of supportive golden retrievers like he was trying to text message therapy me back to stability. Work became complicated. Not fired. Couldn't fire me for being gay in 2025, not in a Cleveland marketing firm that prided itself on diversity and inclusion. But suddenly I wasn't invited to client meetings. Suddenly my projects were reassigned for workload balance. Suddenly, I was the gay guy who went viral, not Jordan Matthews, the designer who landed the Westbrook account. "They're protecting you," my boss Michelle said when I confronted her. "Some clients are traditional, religious. We don't want to put you in an uncomfortable position. So you're putting me in a different uncomfortable position." She sighed. "Jordan, you have to understand." "I understand perfectly." I stood up. "I'm a liability now." Tyler told me to lawyer up. Uncle Mike told me to document everything. Sarah texted from a burner phone her parents didn't know about. "This is so fucked up. I miss you." But it wasn't just work. It was everything. My barber of 15 years suddenly didn't have openings when I called. The guy at my local coffee shop started serving me without the usual small talk. I walked through my neighborhood and felt eyes tracking me. The gay guy from the video, the one who embarrassed his family, the one who chose sin over salvation. I started having panic attacks in the frozen food aisle of Giant Eagle. Just standing there, staring at pizza rolls, unable to breathe because someone was staring at me and I didn't know if they recognized me or if I was just paranoid. Tyler was patient. Too patient. He'd been through this already. Disowned at 19 by his Chinese immigrant parents who'd built their American dream on respectability and straight lines. He knew the stages: shock, grief, rage, numbness, acceptance. "It gets easier," he said one night while I stared at my phone, willing Mom to text me back. "When?" "I don't know. Different for everyone." He paused. My mom reached out after 5 years. We have lunch once a month now. She still won't talk about my boyfriend, but she asks about work. 5 years. The number felt like a life sentence. "Jordan, you might need to accept that some people won't come back. Your dad, maybe. Your grandmother, definitely. And Mom." He didn't answer. That was answer enough. I started therapy. Dr. Patricia Chen, no relation to Tyler, but the coincidence felt like the universe's weird sense of humor. She was a 60-year-old lesbian who'd been out since the 80s, back when it meant losing everything with no viral video to soften the blow. "You're grieving," she said during our 3rd session. "I didn't lose anyone. They're all still alive. You lost the family you thought you had. That's worth grieving." I cried in her office more than I'd cried in my entire adult life. Ugly, snotty, shoulder-shaking sobs that felt like exorcisms. The video eventually faded from virality. 30 days of fame is more like 30 seconds in internet time. But my family's silence didn't fade. Mom sent one text in October: "Your father had a small stroke. He's okay. Thought you should know." I called immediately. She didn't pick up. Marcus sent a follow-up: "You're not welcome at the hospital. Dad doesn't want to see you." Tyler held me that night while I shook with a rage so pure it felt holy. "I hope he dies," I whispered. "I hope he dies and regrets every second he wasted hating me." "You don't mean that." "I do. I really fucking do." But I didn't. That was the worst part. I wanted my dad to live forever and love me. I wanted my mom to call. I wanted Marcus to remember we used to be brothers. I wanted a family that didn't exist anymore. Thanksgiving came. Tyler invited me to San Francisco to meet his parents, the ones who disowned him at 19 and slowly, painfully, learned to love him again. "You don't have to," he said. "If it's too hard. I want to meet them." His mom, May, was a tiny woman with steel in her spine and warmth in her eyes that took 5 years to return. His dad, Wei, shook my hand and asked about my work with genuine interest. They didn't hug Tyler at the door, but they smiled. They used his name. They asked about us. It was the saddest, most hopeful thing I'd ever seen. "You're lucky," May said to me while we washed dishes after dinner. "Tyler is good man. Strong. He survived what we did to him." "I know. You strong too. I see it. You survive your family." I didn't feel strong. I felt broken. But maybe broken and strong aren't opposites. Maybe they're the same thing. Back in Cleveland, I made a decision. I called Michelle and quit. Started freelancing. Took on clients who didn't care if I went viral for kissing my boyfriend. Built a portfolio that screamed authenticity instead of hiding it. Uncle Mike became my family. He and his husband David hosted Christmas at their place. A small, loud, chaotic gathering of queer misfits and allies who'd all been rejected by someone at some point. We ate too much, drank too much, laughed until we cried. "You're doing okay," Mike said, pulling me aside. "I know it doesn't feel like it, but you are." "I miss them." "I know. I missed your grandpa for 20 years before he died. Never got him back. He squeezed my shoulder. But I got myself. And that mattered more." Sarah showed up at my apartment in January with a suitcase and red eyes. "I can't do it anymore," she said. "I can't sit at that table and pretend you don't exist. I can't watch Grandma pray over your empty chair like you died." "Sarah, I'm 19. I'm an adult. And I choose you." We cried together on my couch. Tyler made us hot chocolate. She stayed for 3 days, then went back to college and never stopped texting me again. Marcus called in March. "Dad's in therapy," he said without preamble. "For the stroke. And other stuff." "Okay." "He asked about you." My heart stopped. What did he ask? If you were okay. If you were still with Tyler. If you. He paused. If you were happy. What did you tell him? I told him I didn't know. Because you and I haven't talked in 8 months. Silence stretched between us like scar tissue. "Are you?" Marcus asked finally. "Happy?" I looked at Tyler reading on the couch, at Uncle Mike's wedding photo on my fridge, at Sarah's college acceptance letter I'd framed because I was so fucking proud of her for choosing authenticity. "Yeah," I said. "I think I am." "Good." His voice cracked. That's good, Jordan." He didn't apologize. Didn't invite me to Sunday dinner. Didn't promise things would go back to normal. But he called. And sometimes that's enough. It's been 18 months since the video. Dad and I have coffee once a month now. It's awkward. He asks about work, avoids asking about Tyler, tips too much like he's apologizing with money instead of words. He'll never march in a pride parade. He'll never truly understand. But he shows up. And for now, that's something. Mom texts me recipes and Bible verses in equal measure. Her way of saying, "I love you," and "I'm still praying for your soul," simultaneously. I take the recipes, ignore the verses, text back photos of me and Tyler cooking together. She doesn't respond to those, but she doesn't block me either. Grandma sends a Christmas card every year with no return address. Just her signature and a hand-drawn cross. It's aggressive and loving at the same time, the most Catholic thing I've ever received. Marcus and I talk every few weeks. We're rebuilding. Slowly. His kids call me Uncle Jordan now. They've never met Tyler, but Marcus says, maybe someday. Maybe is better than never. The video's still out there. 2.7 million views and counting. Sometimes people recognize me. Mostly young queer kids who thank me for being visible, for being honest, for surviving the fallout. Did it get better? They ask. It got different, I tell them. Different can be better if you let it. Tyler and I moved in together last year. We're talking about getting married, maybe adopting, maybe moving to a city where holding hands doesn't feel like an act of rebellion. But Cleveland's home. Even the broken parts. Especially the broken parts. Because this is what I learned. You don't come out once. You come out every day. Every time you introduce your boyfriend to a new client. Every time you correct someone who assumes you're straight. Every time you choose authenticity over comfort. And sometimes choosing yourself means losing people you love. Sometimes love isn't enough to overcome fear, religion, or shame. Sometimes your family becomes the people who choose you back. Sometimes you sit in your apartment on a random Tuesday, watching your boyfriend cook dinner while your chosen family texts you memes, and you realize, this is it. This is the life on the other side of that video. Not perfect, not painless, but real. And real is worth every view, every tear, every silent dinner table. If this story hit home, drop a comment sharing your truth, the one you're still afraid to tell. Subscribe for more stories about survival, chosen family, and the brutal beauty of living authentically. And if you're still in the closet, or just came out, or lost your family for being yourself, you're not alone. We're here. We made it through. And you will too. Because loving yourself isn't a betrayal. It's the bravest thing you'll ever do.